That was the sound of war. In my speech today, I'm going to talk to you about homeless veterans in America. This is not something new on the horizon. This has been a problem before. What I'm going to talk about is the latest war that contributed to our homeless veterans in America now, which was the 9/11 war. The towers going down in 2001, and from then on, having young adults going back and forth to Iraq and Afghanistan. Picture September 11th, 2001. 7 a.m., Americans are having breakfast, they're getting their kids ready for school, active military people, they're at work, they've already PT'd, they're getting the day going. 9 o'clock, everybody's at work, day is going the way it's supposed to go, and the first tower gets hit. Everyone's wondering what's going on. Everyone's on high alert. Second tower gets hit. Now everyone is frantically wondering what's going on. Everyone knows where they were at September 11th, 2001. You can probably remember what you ate, what you were doing, if you were in class, if you were at work, whatever the case may be. On September 11, 2001, I was aboard the USS Harry S. Truman. I had just joined the military. I was 18. I recall being on the floor scrubbing the deck, is what we called it, getting off old wax so that we can lay new wax. When one of my shipmates came running through and said the world towers had been hit, me and my other shipmate, we laughed. We were like, okay, whatever. She came back and she said, no, for real. Then alarms started going off, saying this is not a drill. My heart stopped, and I kind of was wondering what is going on. They telling everyone on the overhead to muster with their prospective divisions. That is what I recall from that day. After that day, we started a war with Afghanistan, Iraq. A lot of our young soldiers have been back and forth, done several tours to Afghanistan and Iraq. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is how we can help the ones that come back and they find themselves homeless. This is a whole new wave of homeless veterans. We do see our homeless veterans from the earlier wars that are in their wheelchairs, and we go to the VA shelters and they're out there with their buckets trying to collect money. This new wave of homeless Americans, the younger one, it's a little different. They're not as forthcoming in asking for help. Look, in this speech, I'm going to kind of tell you about what makes our young veterans now. Who are the ones that are homeless living on the streets now? I'm going to discuss different risk factors. I am going to discuss how we can, those different risk factors, how we can turn them around so that we do not have so many young homeless veterans. The reason I say they're young, one of the facts are most of our veterans on the streets now are between the ages of 18 and 30. 18 and 30. The majority of those veterans are females. They had did a poll in 2006, and there was 200 homeless females. To 2011, there are now 1,700. I didn't get numbers as that were updated as of now. When I was doing my research, those were the most accurate numbers that I can get pulled. There are about 56% of those homeless veterans are African Americans. About 12.8% are Caucasian Americans. 51% of those homeless veterans are disabled, and 41% are mentally disabled. Those are who your veterans that are on the streets right now. Those are the ones that make up the homeless generation. A couple risk factors that I looked into that I saw contribute to this problem is, one, when when we join the military, you're on this bus and you're going to fight for your country. You get on the bus, and the minute you get off the bus, you have officers and drill sergeants. They're yelling at you. They're getting you to drop all your guards and to listen to them. You are then told when to eat. You are then told when to go to sleep, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. You lose all of your train of thought. Which, as an adult, when you grow up, you're like, this is what you're going to do. You learn to do different things. Well, now you're on military mode. Another risk factor that ties into that is also when you get out the military, they kind of just push you out there. Thank you. You did a good job. And they don't offer that exit, that transition. Let's get you reacclimated into the world. Some other problems or risk factors that I find is that most of our military, the enlisted, the young age, they are in poverty, or they're a little above poverty. And the ones with families, 41% of them are on food stamps. So when they come out of the military, they're already living on those low budgets. If, say, they have a disability or they are hurt at war, it takes between 12 to 16 months for them to even get their paperwork through the system. How can we fix that? How can we as Americans, how can we help our homeless veterans? I looked into it, and a way that we can help our homeless veterans is we can guide them to their local VA centers. I looked at our local VA center here in Austin, Texas, and they actually have a whole department for homeless veterans that offers them vouchers for food, offers them vouchers for housing, and tries to help them get back on their feet. They also are trying to put in effect a system that when they come out of the military, they transition. It's called TAPS. It's transitioning out of the military. Shows them how to get a job. Shows them how to rewire and live into the world and kind of forget the gunfire and be able to act as American in society. Knowing also that they live in poverty or their pay is so low, maybe a pay raise, especially for enlisted. These are people that are protecting our country, and they're going out there to fight, and they're living in poverty or a little above poverty. Some families are living on food stamps. I didn't have to worry about that because it was just me. I was able to live off of the income for a single military person. Knowing what makes up our homeless generation, the people that are out there now, what we can do as a group of Americans is, if we see these homeless veterans, we should tell them what resources they have. Let them know they can go to their local VA centers. You as Americans can volunteer at the VA shelters. Some of them just want an ear to listen. On Sundays, most of these VA centers, they feed their veterans. They take up donations for them. You can drop off clothes. You can drop off blankets. If you see someone on the street, you can let them know. Some of them don't know what is out there for them. You can let them know, hey, this is where you can go. In conclusion, I hope that you listened to my speech. I hope that I've informed you about the homeless veterans that are out here now, the new wave of homeless veterans that are out here. And I want to leave you with just a little piece of information. I'm a veteran myself, and I'm probably a paycheck away from being homeless. I've reached out to my shipmates when I was doing this video and gathering some research. I have a couple of them that are living with their parents right now, trying to get back on their feet. And we also have one of our shipmates that none of us have really been in contact. And the last time we were in contact with them, they were living on the street and didn't want that help from us. They wanted to figure it out on their own. So I hope this reaches you. I hope that when you see a homeless person on the street that is a veteran, that has that veteran sign up, you kind of just don't drive by them, because they fought for us to walk free, for us to be able to sleep at night and not have to worry about anything.